I did a lot of the work so that you don't have to. You're welcome. Let's get into it. I set the camera too far high, so I am currently looking up into the atmosphere, but that is okay. Hi. I never liked languages. I thought languages were just like disgustingly difficult, super hard. I was like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And then I heard Korean and I was like,
I'm always up for a good challenge.
am I fluent? Golly gee, no. I am nowhere near fluent. But I know how to get started. And I spent a long time trying to figure out how to get started and where to start. And now I figured out the best way to start, and I have all of the goods for you. I'm doing the work for you. You're welcome. First thing you need to learn is the Korean alphabet, which is known as Hangul. Just like in English, there's letters that you put them together in different forms and they make words. In Korean, it's kind of like this like block system. So the first thing I did was I was looking at how to pronounce each individual letter. You really want to make sure that you're listening to someone speaking Korean and listening to how they pronounce the letters. A lot of people will say this sounds like a B, but sometimes it sounds like a P. It's kind of like a mix of both. So that's why it's really important that you're listening to someone else speak the language. So there's a woman who has this like learn Hangul in 30 days video, and I like binge watched it and was able to learn it like super quick. Her videos are great because you can kind of get from the beginning like what she's going to cover. You can see in the title what it's going to cover. So if you already know how to say something, just skip to the next day. Her later videos are what I started to watch, which is when you're connecting a consonant and a vowel and another consonant and the sounds start to change. It doesn't take a long time to learn this. I literally learned all of this in a few days. A lot of Korean, they take words from Chinese and they take words from English. And so sometimes like the word kopi, which is coffee, if you know how to read in their alphabet, you know the rules, you know the exceptions, and you're reading something out loud, you'll almost be like, coffee. Oh, okay, so I know that this is coffee. Then you can start reading and it feels great. You're like looking up words and you're like, I already know how to pronounce that, and you feel awesome. So do that first. But there is this worksheet that I found on the interwebs somewhere, and I'm gonna put it on the screen because this is gonna help you so much.
You see red letters above English words, right? Those English words, a certain part of that English word will be in red, and that's to highlight how you say the letter to the left. Something that's really important to realize is that the red letters above are called Romanization. And if you've ever seen like a K-pop lyric music video, you'll see like English lyrics, underneath you'll see the Hangul, and then underneath that you'll see Romanization. Romanization is not, I repeat, not a good way to learn how to speak Korean. You want to be practicing how to pronounce each letter on its own, and you want to learn all of the like combinations and how to say all of these like rules and exceptions and stuff like that. But if you just learned by Romanization, you'll never actually really learn anything. Plus, look at the third column. You'll see that the top one, there's a letter I, and underneath you'll see tree, and the E's are highlighted. You say this vowel E. You literally pronounce it E. If I were to look at the Romanization, I'd probably say I. If you go down lower, you'll see one that says OE, and underneath the word wait, and WA is highlighted, so way. You say this one way. If I looked at that Romanization, I might say like OE. So you want to look at those English words. I know this graph is missing a few, but if you go watch the videos I linked below, you'll find all of them and you'll be able to write your own English words and stuff like that. But hopefully this graph is helpful.
Next most important thing is the website Talk to Me in Korean. You've probably heard people say that this is great, but let me explain why this website is so great. First of all, there's a lot of free stuff. I drive a lot, or I just kind of go on walks to get some exercise. I like to listen to podcasts, and so Talk to Me in Korean, they even have an app. Let's get it. Oh, can't get it because my phone's there. But they have an app, and if you click on, I'm pretty sure it says like grammar. If you click on that, it even has levels, and it has all of these podcasts that you can listen to. And I used to listen to these when I was driving and I actually had a life and like could go outside, but now I listen to them while I'm walking, or I just listen to them when I'm bored in my room. And these help me so much to get the basic kind of conversation, start to learn a few words, and I'm listening to people speak in Korean, so I'm not just like reading out of a book only, but I'm listening to these free podcasts. They're awesome. Something even better that I didn't realize for a really long time, there's a free PDF attached to every podcast thing. Are they called podcasts? Audio lessons? I don't know. But there's a PDF. So while you're listening, you can quickly glance and see the Hangul, see how the word is spelled out.
Freeze! Everybody clap your hands.
Talk to Me Korean also has like books that you can buy, and on Amazon you could buy a bunch of books, but I'm going to tell you right now, buying 50 books, you're going to waste a whole lot of money, whereas I would much rather see you buy a subscription to Talk to Me in Korean. It is $13 for a month, and I could not recommend enough that you just give it a shot. Just try it for a month. You got nothing else better to do. We all doing the quarantini right now. It is 2020. We stuck inside. They have tons of videos and courses that you can watch and hear and listen. It's so much better than only having the book. Warning to all of y'all K-pop lovers, all of y'all drama lovers. Trust me, I love all that stuff too, but you don't want to just be listening to K-pop music, and you don't want to just be listening to dramas, because there's a lot of ways that they'll like speak in dramas, or there's like a way that you would, make lyrics rhyme or something in K-pop, and that's not how they actually like naturally speak. Think of a drama in your home country. Like in America, my mom watches these soap operas and I'm just like, they be talking funny. Like nobody talks like that. So you have to remember that's the same thing with Korean. So make sure you're listening to like podcasts, or if you're into K-pop, watch some of their like behind the scenes stuff to listen how they're talking like behind the scenes, because they're actually like talking with their friends rather than only using dramas. Meanwhile, it kind of is a segue though, because I do like K-dramas. A lot of other people like K-dramas. There's a beautiful button on the K-drama website. I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced. I'm not gonna try to butcher anything. I'm just gonna be putting pictures. On this, they have a button where you can like learn Korean, and so Korean subtitles will come up, and underneath there'll be whatever, native language that you know. And while something is playing, you can actually click on the Korean subtitle and the definition will pop up. The show will pause, the definition of that word will pop up, and you can kind of like play through and look at how Korean sentences are organized. Underneath, there'll be like a little, kind of looks like a square with an arrow backwards. You can click that button and it'll replay only that line. So you can hear that line again and practice the pronunciation. But that button was awesome. You'll start to hear a lot of words on repeat. And so I always was taking screenshots. So when you take the screenshot, the screen might be blank, but you'll still see the Korean Hangul, and then you'll see like what it means in the dictionary. But what I always do with my finger is I'll write in, like with my finger, you can like edit the picture. I'll write what that line in the show was at that moment with my finger. So I have the Korean subtitles, like what the definition of the word I'm trying to focus on is, and then I'll write with my finger what the line was for all of that like Korean Hangul. Warning, some shows subtitles are not perfectly linked with like the video itself, but a show I was watching is called W. I noticed that on that show it was perfect. The the lineup was synced perfectly. But then I'm Not a Robot, the captions are slightly delayed in Korean. So you just have to be careful.
Super important pro tip. Definitely should have said this before, that's fine. But make sure you click the language learning button when you start an episode, because if you don't click it at the beginning, it has a little hissy fit and it kind of has to go back to the beginning, and then you got to click through all these captions. It's complicated. So just make sure you click it at the beginning and you will be A-okay. Gotta love these still shots looking cute.
I'm sweating. Oh, something else that's super helpful. There's an app called Hello Talk, and when I was in East Asia and I was living over there, it was a really fun way to meet people from all over the world. But on there, I've made a lot of Korean friends, and they always help me with how to say things formally and informally and politely, and like who you say to what. And I'll say, oh, I learned how to say this, and they'll be like, great, but nobody would ever say that to like their friend because that's way too formal, so say it like this. So definitely download that app and look to make some friends if you want. Also, even though I used to be a note card person, I was really like, I need repetition. Your best way of repetition with Hangul, in my opinion, is to like keep writing it out over and over and over again. So if you want to write like, oh, this means hello, and then write annyeonghaseyo over and over and over again, that will help you more than like flipping over a flashcard, because in Hangul there's a dot, and what way like you're connecting things and what direction is very important. And so I think just glancing at it really quickly isn't going to help you memorize it quite as much as if you were to like keep writing it yourself. So that's just like my tip. During this quarantine time, I found like a Korean class near me here in Atlanta, but they're meeting online right now. Look for a Korean class near you. That way, even though I'm in like a basic class, if I have a higher level question, she still wants to answer it, and she can still help me with my pronunciation and help me say, you know, see how accurate you are. And there are some really fun apps. Something that's super important is that you have a good dictionary, you have a good translating app, and then you can have like, there's like a lot of really fun apps. This dictionary is always recommended to me. I think it's a little confusing, but everyone says that you should download this, so I downloaded it. What I really use a lot is Papago, which is this like, it's kind of like Google Translate for Korean. And then here's a few apps that I'll just post that I've used that do have free available options, and you can kind of play with them. But I've really loved these a lot for learning Korean and repetition on like an app. I just word vomited at the camera. Hardcore.
I suck at outros, and you just took in so much information. Let's go laugh at myself, shall we?
There's a lot going on with this pattern and this pattern. You are welcome. That's an added bonus. I feel like I'm in one of those like My Pillow commercials. Do you guys know that like really creepy guy that's like on all the boxes? When quarantining and you're stuck at your parents' house because your roommate works in a hospital, this is the background you guys get. Pretty cute, I know. And life is a mysterious god, and I hope you don't have allergies.